The summer before my third grade, my family and I took a trip to India, which is where my family is originally from. Excited and eager to learn more about my culture, eat a lot of incredible food, and most importantly to me, meet some of my family members. I still remember jumping up and down on my way to meet an uncle and a few cousins who I had never met before. Being the amiable 8-year-old I was, I immediately ran up to greet my newfound uncle. And so I was a little bit confused when he didn't meet me with the same level of enthusiasm. Rather, his eyes widened at the sight of me as he turned to my mom and asked, "Wow, was she rolling around in the mud or something?" I was confused. Everyone laughed and I felt my smile drop for just a second. What did he mean by that? Of course, in time I would come to realize that my uncle was referring to my skin, or more specifically, the darkness of my skin. In India and many other Asian countries, being fair-skinned is a sign of beauty. And in comparison to my lighter-skinned sisters and cousins, I was simply ugly. As an 8-year-old, I could not understand why I was treated differently because of the color of my skin, but I could understand the shame that I felt because of it. And this shame stayed with me for the rest of my life, making me feel reluctant to embrace myself authentically for years to come. I don't blame my uncle, or my aunt, or the countless other people I heard comments and snickers about because of my skin. The fact of the matter is, their perspectives were shaped by their culture and societal upbringing, but that does not change the fact that these beliefs were detrimental to the productivity and development of people both young and old. The 8-year-old girl who loved to spend all her time out in the sun soon became one who refused to go outside without lathering herself in sunscreen and wearing an ungodly large hat. Growing up, I always assumed that my skin was the first thing that anyone noticed about me, that they were judging me and determining my value and my worth based on this one arbitrary feature over which I had absolutely no control. Even today, when I'm giving presentations at school, when I'm offering contributions around the Harkness table, even when I'm engaging in something as simple as peer-to-peer conversation, I'm overly concerned with how I'm being perceived based on my hyper-awareness of how darker skin is treated, both historically and systemically. Now, to be fair, my hyper-awareness of how darker skin is treated is not totally unwarranted. Referred to as colorism, this is a practice of discrimination where people with lighter skin are treated more favorably than people with darker skin. Although this is a global practice, in the United States specifically, as a product of racism and slavery, a prime example of this practice is the paper bag test, a popular hiring practice employed in the 19th and 20th centuries. Essentially, if a candidate applying for a job was the same skin tone or lighter than a brown paper bag, they were eligible to be considered for the position. While if they were any darker than a brown paper bag, they would automatically be taken out of consideration. Even today, according to a study conducted by the University of Georgia, darker-skinned African Americans face a distinct disadvantage when applying for job positions in comparison to lighter-skinned applicants. Even with less education and job experience, the lighter-skinned candidate was statistically proven to be hired more frequently, with the darker candidate thought to be menacing. I remember once for a birthday, a great aunt of mine very excitedly came up to me and handed me this moisturizer. And on first glance, I was very excited about it too, up until I saw the name. Fair and Lovely. As its name suggests, it's a skin lightening cream, one that over 27 million people in India alone use on a daily basis. As she handed it to me, she said, "Tesia, I should be your favorite aunt. You're going to be so beautiful now." That hurt. And it still hurts as I share it with you all today. There is a multi-billion-dollar industry profiting off of the beauty standards and prejudiced ideals of people like my great aunt, who believe that the only way to be beautiful, and by proxy successful, is by ascribing to a Eurocentric standard of beauty. How could I ever appreciate myself for myself and stay true to my authenticity when I was taught to feel uncomfortable in my own skin? I'm not sure exactly when I decided to stop feeling pity on myself for this supposed genetic curse. I think it may have been as recently as a couple summers ago, when I had the chance to travel to Tanzania as part of a school travel trip. There, the girls that I was living with called my dark skin beautiful and were in contrast alarmed by some of my peers with lighter complexions. I don't bring up this experience to validate my beauty, but rather to show how subjective this standard is. If we quantify our value and our worth as humans based on what others perceive and what others say, we are doomed to fail from the start. So, yes, people will judge and make assumptions about our value and our worth for the very things that we are insecure about, because these norms are so ingrained in our society. But if we let that insecurity hold us back, then we really have no chance of attaining success. Now, it would be naive of me to pretend that self-love and embracing myself authentically would wipe away the racism, colorism, and discrimination that my predecessors and I have faced and will likely continue to face. But as soon as we do start embracing ourselves authentically, we release the hold that others have on us. So, to my uncle and to my great aunt, both of whom I love, and to everyone else who seeks to define me and all of us based on superficial, socially constructed standards, I say, I am beautiful, I am intelligent, and like everyone else, I am human. And because I am human, we are all more alike than we are different. I hope that we can all learn to embrace ourselves authentically and grow comfortable in our own skin in a world that makes it so hard to do so. Thank you so much for your time.